actually adding here. I'm assuming the feedstock for formic acid now. That's not coming hopefully from coal or propane or something like that, is it?
So we are not producing formic acid itself. We are effectively buying formic acid as a commodity chemical.
Right.
But it can be produced from a variety of carbon neutral processes, meaning you're taking decaying biomass, using that to generate. There's the production methods for formic acid have been around since 1930s. There's also a process to actually take carbon dioxide emissions and react that and form formic acid.
Oh, okay.
So rather than spewing carbon dioxide directly into the atmosphere, you can effectively capture it. Remember, the molecule structure is HCOOH. Carbon dioxide is COO. So there's a lot of ways, and there's companies that are looking at creating formic acid as a way to reduce carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as well.
Okay, great.
You're using it as a molecule that is now generating energy.
Right. So what is the business model here? Are you guys essentially an R&D company that develops prototypes and then looks to have someone else then license it and manufacture it for you, or are you looking at some point actually manufacturing the reformers to the specifications of a General Motors, for example?
So as I mentioned in the introduction, we've really been commercializing product over the last 16 to 18 months.
Okay.
Our initial focus over the next 1 to 3 year time frame would be to license the technology where possible so we can leverage other companies' infrastructure to deploy the product. On the BuzzBar suite of products, we are selling directly to consumers and also big box retailers and others. But we are very receptive to licensing because that helps leverage where we are. We are really an intellectual property-based company at this point.
Okay.
So over the next 1 to 3 year time frame, a focus on the company would be to license the technology, partner with the right infrastructure partners to build and develop the product. We can build low volumes of units at this point. We don't envision being a high volume manufacturer over the next 1 to 3 year time frame. In that, beyond the 3 year, and we talked about the power chip, that's a licensing discussion with the government of India at this point. So over the next 1 to 3 year time frame, our goal is to be building few units to demonstrate and validate for the different specific applications and markets, and really partner with the best of breed manufacturers to develop and build the product into the end application.
Okay.
And in that 3 to 5 year time frame, depending on how the market opportunities are, we may move to do more of the manufacturing in-house as well. But that's really not our focus over the next 1 to 3 year time frame.
Well, yeah, that makes sense for a technology company. Seems to me like this, that would be you take it, develop it, and then turn it over to somebody who has the expertise to, bring costs down and turn it out. Mm-hmm. How are you? Obviously, looking, at your balance sheet there, you're like most startups. There's more red than black. I'm guessing that you're looking at, getting cash flow from the BuzzBar suite and things like that. So what sort of your plans? If I wanted to buy one of these, where would I go to buy one? Would I go to your website? Would I go to eBay? Would I go to Best Buy? How are your plans on doing that?
So to address the capitalization question, we're a public company, so all of our financial status is reported in our public filings.
Yep.
We cannot comment specifically about capital formation in these public forums. But from our standpoint, we are focusing a lot on commercialization as a path to get to capitalize a company, both through direct sales. We are launching an Indiegogo campaign, so we're pushing our product through our website called the buzzbarsuite.com. Okay. So if you want to order the BuzzBar Suite, you go to the buzzbarsuite.com website, and you're able to order it. We are ramping up production on those units, having direct to consumer sales. We are in dialogue with a lot of big box retailers as well. They really love the product. There is no product like the Buzzbar Suite out there that gives you off-grid functionality. So we are very pleased with the initial responses we are getting there. So we want to drive that commercialization. Again, we are very receptive to potentially licensing it out to them to leverage what we've already done from high-volume manufacturing. These units that I had showed earlier, these were all done with injection molding, and these are not done as one-off, two-off units, meaning it's focused on cost, manufacturability, a lot of DFM type of capability.
Okay.
So yeah, so the Buzzbar Suite, go to buzzbarsuite.com and you can order a unit.
Great, very good. Well, look, I was going to ask you my last question, but you pretty well answered. I was going to ask you, where do you see the company in 5 years' time?
Yeah, so to the point I was making earlier, the next 1 to 3 years, we really see getting significant traction around these different platforms. In that, beyond the 3 to 5 year time frame, you effectively have 3 different platforms that's meeting needs. There's a lot of overlapping technology benefits that we bring relative to the electrocatalysis, the system integration, the system design. But in that 3 to 5 year time frame, you're really looking at having the Buzzbar as a very established market leader in that space. On the formic acid, we want to see traction for a variety of applications, whether it is automotive to off-grid applications like drones and sensors. We haven't touched on this, but there's a huge market in developing countries for off-grid power. If you live in a high-rise in most big cities in India and you don't have power for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
This is a very pragmatic product. If you can run a formic acid fuel cell, that's great value. Most of them do not let you run a diesel generator because of the noise and pollution, regardless of the fact that you don't have power for these extended periods of time. So these are all the different markets that we are looking at building on. Because ultimately what we are doing is taking fuel, converting it into a usable form, running it across a system, generating energy. What the Buzzbar does, it allows you to take energy from a variety of different sources, aggregate that, and make it a usable form for the consumer. So we really look at ourselves as a renewable energy company, less of a fuel cell company in that sense.
Okay. So you got a full, looks like you're developing a suite of capabilities there then, so.
Yeah, we want to look at it kind of a Chinese menu way, depending on the functionality that you need. You take these combinations and put it together to build a product. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, look, thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time and talking to us about this, and we'll watch with interest. I have speaking of the off-grid thing, I've got a project I'm working on where that 5 kilowatt fuel cell might just come in handy. So let's keep the dialogue going.
Let's keep the dialogue going, Bill. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, very good. Well, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.